You're making noise and I watch you slow down. I'm catching up just like we're racing, like you're chasing.
Hello and good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here with me today. We have
Last Sunday, I decided to go on a break para magpahinga.
okay, just a minute. Okay, so we'll be together for 1 hour, and I will make sure to put so much value in this 1 hour that we're going to spend together. As of now, there are 64 people registered. Hello, 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 hello to everyone. And I would also like to greet our YouTube viewers. Good morning. Thank you for making it here on time today. So just a few reminders before we start. What I need from you is to be physically and mentally present. While I meant physically, hindi ko kayo makikita face to face, but I want you to interact really with me. Interact with me through the chat box, please. So if you're liking what I'm saying, if you're agreeing with me, just type in me. Or if you have questions, just type it in the chat box, and then I will go to the chat box later to answer your questions. And of course, I want to meet everyone and I want to feel your presence. If you can type in your highs, your hello, and your where you're watching from, please. Sige, pa-type lang sa chat box. Taga saan kayo? Where are you watching from now? And then say hi, hello to your co-participants. Ang dami natin dito. So, Xavier says hello. And of course, we have that Mr. Natividad. Good morning po. Hello, world. Sabi ni Miss Jane Tamundong. Meron tayo from Davao, from Nueva Ecija, from Tarlac. We have Kesley. Hi, everyone. Watching this from Tarlac. We have from UP Visayas, si Juvie Cavite. Wow. Ito ang kagandahan ng online, di ba? Mas wider ang reach natin. So thank you for making your presence felt. Before anything else and before we dive into the main topic, let me introduce myself. I will be showing you a video so that you get to know what I do and also a little something about me. Okay, so you already know me, and we'd like to welcome you again to our webinar for today entitled Reinvent for Success in Time of Quarantine, Learn, Improve, and Pivot. It's such a loaded title we have right here, and I would like to ask you, in our title, sa title natin, what struck you the most or what word struck you the most? Okay? Dito yung nakita niyo yung title, gusto ko tong panoodin. Okay? Gusto ko mag-attend dito. Anong word sa title natin? Can you please put it in the chat box? Xavier says improve. Olivia says reinvent. Florinda said quarantine. Reinvent. And Selma and Romel said, Roy said success. Okay. Any other? Rowella said reinvent. What about the rest? What struck you the most? Reinvent. Hi! Hello from Zamboanga, si Miss Minnie. Hindi siya nakapag-hello kanina. So, reinvent, success. Pivot, says Juvie. Okay, Jane. Oh, your credentials po, NLP, while it is not in the slide. Thank you, Jane. Success, improve. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to explain to you the image that you're seeing here on the slide and why I use this. First and foremost, I love that the words that you use or the words that struck you most were reinvent, success, quarantine, and pivot. Mary isa nagsabi improve, but most of you really placed in there reinvent. And I use this image because when you are in the process of reinventing yourself or mastering the reinvention skill, you can liken yourselves in that caterpillar that you see over here. Pwede nating ipareho ang sarili natin dito sa caterpillar because what the caterpillar goes through before it becomes a butterfly, marami ang pagdadaanan, and that is what's going to happen to us as well when we are mastering the reinvention skill. So ano nga ba nangyayari pagka nagmo-morph into a butterfly ang isang caterpillar? So just a very brief explanation so you get to grasp the meaning of this image right here. So the caterpillar po, bago siya maging butterfly, someone is calling that caterpillar to form a chrysalis. Chrysalis. So yun yung tawag kung saan, yun yung, dun siya nagmo-morph. No? As you can see that on the next picture after the caterpillar. So something is the caterpillar is being called na mag-form ka ng chrysalis. I want to become a butterfly. So then, during the process, this caterpillar emits an enzyme, digestive enzyme that disintegrates all the parts of the caterpillar. Imagine niyo gumagawa siya ng substance para matunaw niya lahat ng parts ng katawan niya. But then it leaves one important part which is called the imaginary disc. Ngayon, itong disc na to, or what we call the imaginal disc, even when the caterpillar turns into a butterfly, andun pa rin yung imaginal disc na yon. And same thing for us when we undergo reinvention. There's that one thing that stays with us that's unique for us as an individual when we reinvent. So what are these things? These are the skills that we learned nung bata pa tayo. Kung resourceful tayo ng bata tayo, kahit pa paano, ngayong grown-ups na tayo, it's still there. So it's the same thing with the caterpillar trying to be a butterfly. And then yung stage na magbe-break out na yung butterfly dun sa chrysalis, it's a really very delicate process. And ganun din yung mangyayari sa atin when we go through reinvention and if we want to be successful in it. And there are times that when we reinvent, nakikita natin na walang tumutulong sa atin or sometimes we feel alone, especially during this quarantine. That's okay because we need that strength. And that strength, we will be able to use it para ma-achieve yung goal natin. Ano bang part ng life ko yung gusto kong Reinvent. So I just want to share with you, I went to Bohol, there's this butterfly park, and then I witnessed this mismo, yung gusto na lumabas ng butterfly dun sa chrysalis niya. And gusto ko siyang tulungan kasi nakita ko parang hirap na yung butterfly. And then the zookeeper told me, ma'am, don't even attempt to do it because you are increasing the handicap of that butterfly kasi kailangan ng butterfly na yan yung strength para mabuhay siya at matuto siyang lumipad. So this is a short explanation of why this image is really very important when we think of reinvention. We have to think ourselves from being a caterpillar, how now can we become a butterfly? So now I would like to ask, how many of you here has the purpose of mastering the reinvention skill professionally or personally? So nandito ba kayo to reinvent yourself professionally or personally? Sige nga, lagay natin sa chat box. Okay, no audio. No audio. Are you hearing me now? Can you please type loud and clear if you're hearing me? Okay, so thank you for informing me. So some of you placed loud and clear. Okay, so good na. Christine says choppy kasi and no audio. Okay, so I'll go back to my slide. Oy, yung ano muna, sagot muna natin. Who's here to reinvent professionally and who is here to reinvent personally? Sige nga. Professional improvement, Gladys. Para lang at least I have an idea yung percentage. Both, ma'am, says Luella. Personally, both, reinvent on both. Okay, both. Okay, so you are in the right place because whether or not you want to reinvent personally and professionally, the tips that I'm going to give you, it can be used for both. At least nagkaroon lang ako ng idea. So a lot of you says both here. Now I'm going back to my slides to let you know if this live webinar is for you. This live webinar is for you if number one, you want to know what it takes to reinvent yourself. Okay? Number two, if you are brave enough to face the challenges that goes with it. And number three, if you are willing to take action to achieve it. Because I can give you all the theories, all the tips, all the examples. But then if you're not up to the challenge, if you're not willing to take action, all of this will be going to waste. So, okay ba tayo dyan? Are you willing to take action? Thumbs up nga if you're willing to take action, or put yes. Type yes if you're willing. I'm up to the challenge, says Olivia. Oh, kompleto pa talaga. I'm up to the challenge. Yes, says Alota. Yes. So give me your yeses. Okay, I have to see your commitment because this is not an overnight thing. Okay? So yes, yes, yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Ayan, di ba maganda na lahat tayo is really up to the challenge. Now, what are you going to learn in this webinar? You're going to learn the benefits of reinventing yourself. Paano ba simulan to? How do we kickstart it? And then, while you are doing it, what are the challenges that you will be encountering? And of course, I will give you steps to reinvent yourself. So let's do a quick situationer first. What's happening now? We are already on our 6th month in quarantine. The numbers are getting higher. Some of us are being laid off from work. I have lots of friends who don't have work right now. And what else? We have family members probably, wag naman sana, pero are probably having COVID or had COVID. Meron siguro sa atin, we even lost relatives, friends to COVID. So ano ibig sabihin nito? A lot of us, most of us are having negative thought process. Hindi natin naiiwasan na mag-overthink. Hindi natin naiiwasan na mag-worry. To have these insecurities, am I still capable of doing my job? I'm scared, I'm worried to go to work. Kaya ko pa ba? Sana pala ginawa ko to noon pa. Regrets. We have bad memories. We feel guilty when we're working from home and we see our kids wanting our time, di ba? Tapos biglang nagtatrabaho ka. Ano pa? Disappointments, frustrations, fears. All of this we are experiencing right now. And I am urging everyone to manage your negative thoughts. Why? Because it won't do you any good. And I would like to share with you my crashing mobile story so that you'll have an idea of what's happening to your body when you are entertaining or dwelling too much on negative thoughts. So my crashing mobile story is really very quick. I went to a client, closed a deal. I was so happy. I went to the car, excited to bring the good news to my team. Pagsara ko ng pinto, ayaw sumara yung pinto ng kotse. Bakit? So sinubukan ko ulit. Sinara ko pa ng isang beses, ayaw pa rin. And then the driver told me, ma'am, parang may humaharang sa door. Pwedeng pakitingin. Pagtingin ko, lo and behold, yung aking cellphone ang humaharang. So I immediately grabbed it, and then I was so happy because I still saw the messages. They're all there. Sabi ko, uy, buhay pa, no? So, okay, I was trying to text everyone, excited to say the good news. Kasi inisip ko, madali naman tong padiretsohin, di ba? Until suddenly, nag-blank, nagkaroon ng green color, and it's trying to occupy my whole screen. So nakita nyo, yung dahan-dahan na nawawala yung mga messages, dahan-dahan na nabablanko yung screen, until finally, na-occupy niya lahat, and then hindi ko na ma-on yung phone. So that's what's happening to our body when we entertain or dwell into our negative thoughts. Miss Suzette, ang hirap naman maging positive sa mga panahong ganito. Yes, it's hard to be positive, but at least, okay, try to be, when you experience these negative feelings, it's okay. Acknowledge it. You can cry for a while, but make sure to, after acknowledging it, to take action. Paano ko ito lalabanan? Ano yung mga steps na dapat kong gawin? Okay? Otherwise, it will deplete your energy just like what happened to my phone. It depleted my energy. Actually, it depleted the life out of my phone. And that's what's happening to our body, to our mind, when we are full of negativities. And of course, it's the number one also blocks in reinventing ourselves. So Dr. Sue said, okay, this is a very important quote that I want to share with you, that when something bad happens, you have three choices. You can let it define you, destroy you, or strengthen you. And I urge everyone to choose the latter. Let this COVID-19 pandemic strengthen you. Alam ko, mahirap. Ang budget natin, hindi natin alam kung paano pagkakasyahin. Ang mga doctors natin bumibigay, maraming frontliners bumibigay na. That's the reason why we had an MECQ before the GCQ, right? So a lot of things are happening. So let this work for you. Let this situation strengthen you. Why? Why do you need to do that? Because as the famous author of the book, French Women Don't Get Fat, sabi niya, just as established products brands need updating to stay alive and vibrant, we, as humans, we periodically need to refresh or reinvent ourselves. So reinventing as a skill can be mastered not only kung may problema, not only when you are having difficulties in your life. When you master the reinvention skill, anytime you want it, whether you want to reinvent yourself personally, gusto kong mamak-control yung anger ko dahil madali ako magalit, madali niyong magawa yun kasi you've already mastered that reinvention skill. Ang sinasabi ko lang dito is a lot of people entertain the idea of reinvention, transforming, changing only when they are at a critical point. Ang maganda in this webinar is that I will give you the steps. I will show you why it's important. I will mention the challenges so that even when you're not at a critical point, you can easily reinvent yourself. So why again do we have to reinvent ourselves? Number one, when we reinvent ourselves, it allows us to learn to face fear and survive. This is me. I chose this picture because sino ba dito muna yung nakakamiss na ng theme park? Sige nga, hand raise button or type in me. Sino dito yung miss na pumunta ng Enchanted or miss ng lumabas with the family? I'm sure a lot of us are really craving for that excitement. Thank you, Romel. Thank you, Rosalie. Lovella raised their hand. Thank you very much. So alam ko noon, dami na sa atin gustong mag-theme parks. So whenever you go to theme parks, ano yung pinaka natatakot kayong sakyan? Kasi in my case, it's really the roller coaster. So every time, papasok pa lang kami ng theme park, yung fear ko na yun yung what's stopping me from enjoying? No, even though we are riding all the relaxed rides, hindi ko ma-enjoy kasi iniisip ko, ang ending nito mag-roller coaster because my daughter and my husband, which you can see in the picture right there behind me, they are enjoying it too much. Pero ang rule nila, pag di ka kasama, hindi tayo aalis, hindi tayo sasakay, and hindi tayo aalis dito hanggat hindi tayo makapag-roller coaster ride. So then, I styled my mind. I changed my mindset. Every time we go to theme parks, pagka time na to do the roller coaster ride, I am controlling the way I think so that it could be registered to my subconscious mind. You know, our subconscious mind is really powerful. Whatever you feed in there, it will be seen in the way you act and the way you behave. So yun yung in-style ko, hindi iniisip ko na lang na madali lang yan. It's only a 2-minute ride. Kayang-kaya ko yan. Ini-imagine ko talaga siya na nangyayari. And that's what you also get when you are reinventing yourself. You will learn how to face fear and then survive it. So now, every time you go to theme parks, mas magaan na yung loob ko. Mas madali na siya. Although nandun pa rin yung takot, it's okay. Kung ang takot ko before was 100%, now it's down to 40%. Same thing when you reinvent. The things that you're fearful of, later on you'll realize, ganun lang pala yun. Hindi naman pala ganun nakakatakot. As Zig Ziglar said, di ba? Everything that you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. And fear is the number one block to reinvention. Okay? What else does fear, what does it do to you? In 1994, I experienced a recession. 1997, pilot strike. 2001, there was 9/11. There was SARS. There was an early retirement offer that came in while I was enjoying my work. No, there was a Great Recession, and now there's COVID-19. And I worked in the airline industry for 25 years. I started my career at age 19. And that was 1993. Wag na po natin i-compute kung ilang taon ako ngayon. Diba? Tapos bigla nagkaroon ng recession. I'll tell you more about that. But what I want you to capture at this point is that it's useless being fearful on what's happening to our life now, especially now during quarantine. Of course, meron namang advantages ang pagiging fearful because it motivates us to do better. But then, in hindsight, looking back sa mga nangyari sa buhay ko, iniisip ko, sana pala in-enjoy ko. Sana pala instead of being fearful, too fearful of the things that are happening in the world, things that are happening in my company, focusing on the negative things that can happen, sana mas in-enjoy ko na lang siya. That's in hindsight. Ngayon na alam ko na, ngayon na I'm looking back, hindi ko na magawa yung mga gusto kong gawin. The dangerous question of what if will haunt you. So habang maaga, tanggalin na natin yung what ifs na yan. Right? Number 2, reinvention lets happiness up and our frustrations down. Who among you here watched One More Chance? The movie One More Chance, part 1. Yung unang-unang One More Chance. If you remember, babe, there was that part when Basha, di ba si Basha and Popoy, they are engaged already. There was the point in Basha's life wherein she felt that she's not growing anymore as an individual. It's like everything that she does is based on her partner, Popoy. Nawala yung sarili niya in the relationship. So she asked Popoy she broke up with Popoy. Syempre nagwala si Popoy, 'di ba? Bakit? Anong rason? Okay naman tayo. But then Basha chose to what? Chose herself. Tignan muna niya yung sarili niya, kilalanin niya ulit yung sarili niya. Yun yung gusto niyang ipahiwatig kay John Lloyd noon. And remember that part that she went to the salon and had her hair cut? Eto na siya, 'di ba? Yung feeling na yon, that's what's going to happen to us if we reinvent. It makes us more positive because it releases that dopamine. Yun yung hormone na nire-release when you're happy. So when you reinvent, makukuha natin tong feeling na to. Okay? It gives us that positive feeling, just like what happened to Basha after she broke up with John Lloyd. And we experienced this as well. You know that feeling when you're having a haircut. Di ba pagkatapos nun, parang ang ganda ka sa sarili mo or gwapong-gwapo ka sa sarili mo. Or when you buy clothes, yung mga gusto nyong clothes na matagal nyo nang inaasam-asam, come sweldo time, nabili mo na, may bago kang clothes, pagkasuot mo, iba yung feeling. That's what you're going to feel when you reinvent. And I'm sure if there are a lot of you here who are housewives as well, at home, when you're cooking, kagaya ko, hindi ako masyado marunong magluto, pero ngayon masasabi ko, I've learned a lot of dishes and I'm so happy. So ganun na nagagawa ng reinvention sa atin. Number 3, it allows you to have a toolbox filled with coping and thriving skills. We Filipinos are really good at this. That's why, di ba, sabi nga nila, necessity is the mother of reinvention or invention. And we as Filipinos, we are good at this. Yolanda, earthquake, ano pa mga napagdaanan natin, the recent Taal volcano eruption, pero nakangiti pa tayo, nagti-TikTok pa tayo, and we have been adored by even industrial countries kasi ang tanong nila sa sarili nila, bakit ganon? Bakit ang Pinoy ang dami ng pinagdadaanan pero nakangiti pa rin? So we have to anchor ourselves in that trait that we have as Filipinos. Kagaya ng nasa picture, 'di ba? Nung una nagkakandara pa tayo, paano na yan? Nagbebenta ako sa market, how can I sell? Wala nang pupunta sa akin. So then we reinvented, well, the manongs and the manans reinvented themselves. Kinaya naman, di ba? Even you guys, I'm sure you've experienced that. Pag lumalabas tayo, ang mga sari-sari store, meron na silang mga plastic cover and all. In their own little way, they're making an effort to reinvent their business. And as you can see here, kung ano, pag nagbabaha, umiiyak pa ba tayo? Hindi na, di ba? Nilalabas na natin yung mga pwede natin gamitin. Gagamitin natin kariton if that's the only way. If that's the only way to go to work, sige, gagamitin natin yan. So reinvention really is not new to everyone. Okay? Although there are different levels of reinvention, and the reinvention that we want here really is reinvention from the inside. Kasi the outside reinvention will follow. Yan. Next would be, when you are mastering the reinvention skill, it will allow you to get a clear understanding of what you want in life. Ano ba talaga yung gusto mo? Lalo na ngayong quarantine, ano ang mga nabawas na oras sa atin? So our travel time has been cut. Ano pa? Not a lot of people are bothering us. Unlike when we were in the office, Madalas, madali ka lang puntahan, di ba? Paturo naman ito, paturo niyan. Pero ngayon, most of us are working from home. Then we'll have more time. I'm assuming that we will have more time to reflect and understand ourselves. What do I want to reinvent? You said personal. Some of you said professional. Some of you both. But what specifically? Okay? Ano yung gusto mo sa buhay mo? Ano yung gusto mo from others? And sometimes when you reinvent, it also means giving up somebody, and that's okay. If that somebody is not 100% with you in your journey to reinventing yourself, sometimes kailangan nating i-unfollow yon. Kailangan natin i-unfriend yon because he or she is bringing us so much negativity. Okay? And lastly, reinvention allows you to learn to reinvent yourself. This is not, yes, it may sound redundant, parang paulit-ulit, pero what I'm trying to say is, if you master that reinvention skill, again, it's going to be habitual for you. Hindi na siya mahirap gawin kasi alam mo na kung papaano. And I'm really a big fan of reinvention as I've been through a long process, long journey of reinvention. Very quickly, I started to work as a flight attendant at age 19 for our flag carrier. Batang-bata pa ako noon, domestic flight attendant. I will be sharing with you yung professional reinvention ko na lang, no? Not anymore the personal. Ibang kwento pa yon. Pero I married young. O yun, mga 22. 21. I married at 21. A mom at 22. And then I was doing everything, really reaching my dream to becoming an international flight attendant back then kasi yun ang dream ko eh. Diba? Yun yung dream ko. Okay, Maria Ladette raised her hand. Okay. Tama naman, no? Okay. Let me see. Baka hindi ako Okay. So, naku ma'am, baka marami mag-reinvent. Okay, sige. So, ang sinasabi natin dito is that at that time, imagine 19 years old, got married, still pursuing the dream of becoming an international flight attendant. Lahat naman yun na-achieve ko. Pero ano yung mga challenges na nandami? Hindi ka pwede kasi kasal ka na. Hindi pwede kasi may anak ka na. No? So yan yung mga challenges na sinasabi. But I'm so happy that I proved them wrong. And more than proving anyone wrong, you proved to yourself na kaya mo pala basta gusto mo. And akala ko it's going to be a bed of roses when I reached my dream. No. Being in the airline industry, it's really not stable. And kagaya nga nabanggit ko ngayon, although it's a good career to have, very enjoyable, very fruitful, you have to be ready also if in case the economy goes down. And that's what's happened to the airline industry right now. Maraming natanggal na trabaho, piloto ka man, flight attendant ka man, nawalan ng trabaho. We have flight attendants doing Grab now, selling everything online, not only the airline industry. This pandemic is on a different level. Kahit mayayamang bansa, no, had to undergo challenges. And after that, natanggal ako sa flag carrier as a flight attendant because nga nagkaroon ng pilot strike, as I've mentioned. And so, I reinvented myself and became a medical representative. Ang layo, di ba? From being a flight attendant, naging medical representative. Pero panibagong challenge na naman yan, panibagong aral, and I have never, ever studied that well in my life. Mas nag-aral pa ako sa kailangan ko nung medical rep ako kesa nung college ako. Sobrang dami, sobrang kakapal ng libro yung mga mini-memorize namin noon. But then, I was focused. I was clear on what I want. And my priority then was for my family to survive. Because my husband and I, yung kinikita namin, hindi pwedeng isa lang. And I'm sure a lot of you are in the same boat right now. Okay? And then, after that, an international airline opened And then I said bye-bye to my life as a medical representative. Sabi nga nila, kung nawala sa iyo yung trabaho na pinaka-love mo, once na nag-open yan, babalik-balikan mo pa rin yan. So, maganda naman yung pagkakahiwalay namin with the pharmaceutical company that I worked for. They understood. But then, I pursued my dream, became an international flight attendant, got the retirement offer. Then 2014, nag-offer sa retirement. Kasi nga, yung economy, hindi rin ganun kaganda. Kinuha ko na. And then, I worked for Cebu Pacific as a flight instructor. So sabi ko, ang tagal ko na rin flight attendant. And I enjoyed really imparting knowledge and teaching flight attendants to carry on and go through their training. Kasi matindi po yung training. Sabi ko, sige, pursue ko to. And then, after that, of course, the retirement offer that I had, I invested as well and become an entrepreneur. And then, sabi ko, what naman kaya if I try doing, applying sa corporate? Para may corporate experience ako kasi gusto ko rin ma-share yung knowledge ko, not only to flight attendants, but to others as well, whether it be they're in the airline industry or not. So, na-fulfill ko naman yon. And then eventually I want to go on my own. So I've been a training consultant and then a speaker and now a coach. So if you see my journey to reinvention, parang hindi siya konektado masyado. Paano ko ginawa yon? It's really more doing or styling your mindset. I've been sharing this to you a lot of times mula kanina because it's really the key. You have to understand how your subconscious mind works. And as a neuro-linguistic practitioner and as a believer of how powerful the subconscious mind is, I want you to pay attention to that. All the information that's coming in sa inyo, it's being distorted, it's being generalized by your mind, and then lahat yan pupunta sa subconscious. Yung conscious mind natin, konti lang ang capacity niyan to process all the information that you've been getting. And those unprocessed information, they all go to your subconscious mind. So halimbawa, hindi na process ng conscious mind mo that you are scared or you feel you're not confident. Kasi ang dami niyang pina-process. Pupunta ngayon yun sa subconscious mo. So now, everything that you do, nawawalan ka ng kumpiyansa. Ang hirap nitong reinvention ko, hindi ko ito magagawa. Kasi it's in your subconscious. So instead of thinking na hindi ko ito magagawa, during this COVID, mamumulubi talaga ako, restate it. Sabihin nyo in a positive way. Okay, I can do online selling para, for example, para maibsan yung mga nawala na bawas sa sweldo ko. So that's a positive way versus thinking na wala na mangyayari sa atin, kukulang na talaga yung budget natin. Hindi na tayo makakain 3 times a day. So that's what you're planting in your subconscious. And that's a very important thing that you have to master when you are reinventing yourself. Okay? So how do you now kickstart your reinvention plan? Number 1 is you have to be resilient. Just like the bamboo that you're looking at it right now. So bakit ang bamboo? Tanong ko sa inyo, if you are a bamboo, are you going to bend or are you going to break? This COVID-19, this pandemic that's happening to us right now, if you allow it to break you, it will. But if you allow yourself to be flexible, adapt, accept, acknowledge the things that are happening, then yes, you will bend, but you will bounce back. But resilience is not merely, or is not only bouncing back. Being resilient means learning from the past experiences, everything that has happened to you, and developing new coping strategies. Nangyari sa akin to. What is this teaching me? Very good example is Mr. John Gokongwei, the father of Mr. Lance Gokongwei. So Mr. John Gokongwei, a member of is a scion, member of a wealthy family in Cebu. So mayaman yan na pamilya. They're a scion of a wealthy family back then in Cebu. But then when Mr. John Gokongwei died, nag-iba ang mundo ng Gokongwei family. And at that time, John Gokongwei was 13 years old pa lang, and yung dad niya passed away, 13 pa lang siya. So they were forced to stay in Cebu with the mom, but the rest of the family had to go back to China. So Mr. John Gokongwei was the one who peddled and sold peanuts, candles, using his bike. So if you have time, read the book, The Life Story of John Gokongwei. Nakikita niyo yung bicycle dyan kasi it represents how he was able to go through the challenges that he's been through nung namatay yung dad niya. So siya yung nagbenta ng mga kung ano-ano, and then of course the rest is history. He was able to bring the family back to Cebu. But imagine yourself at 13 years old really working for the family. Grabe rin yung pinagdaanan. And I was so fortunate to work with the JG Summit Holdings Group. I got to work with Mr. Lance and Madam Rubina and really saw the value that Mr. John Gokongwei inculcated in them. Hindi sila binaby. Actually, ang ginawa pa nga sa kanila, pinaranas sa kanila yung hirap ng pagiging receptionist, ano pa yung mga pinagdaanan ni Madam. You know, those personnel at the mall who receives the stocks from the suppliers. Okay, ginawa yun ni Madam Rubina. Okay, well, hindi sila binibi. In other words, when you are reinventing yourself, just like the butterfly, it's kind of icky. Remember, I mentioned that the caterpillar, when it emits the digestive enzymes, nag-create siya ng parang soup-like icky, no, na liquid sa loob ng chrysalis. Pero kailangan niya yun eh. So ganun talaga yung pagdadaanan natin when we are going through our reinvention journey. And it's not only happening to the normal people, even the wealthy people undergo this as well, and most of them. Right? Kasi yan. And next thing you need to have is determination. And I would like to introduce to you Nick Vujicic. Sino yung mga nakakakilala kay Nick Vujicic? Okay, he is a very famous motivational speaker, an Australian evangelist. And of course, having suffered tetra amelia syndrome, yan, ibig sabihin no, pinanganak siya, wala na talaga siyang arms and legs. He was bullied in school. He attempted suicide, but now he has his own family. He can swim, he can paint, and he can surf. So can you imagine how you can be successful if you were born with tetra amelia syndrome? Siguro, majority of us will really give up. Pero siya hindi eh. Again, as Mr. Vujicic mentioned in one of his interviews, it's the mindset that his parents inculcated in him that he should have growing up. Hindi siya gaanong tinutulungan. They let him actually take a bath on his own. Of course, may supervision. But then again, just like when you are going through reinvention, you have to slowly do it yourself and not be dependent on other people. Yes, you need support. Importante yon in your journey to reinvention. But first, you have to focus on yourself, on really what you want, and be determined to achieve it. Next thing, yes, no, so get support. You can't do it alone, but you must do it alone first. Assess yourself first. Ano yung mga talents ko? Ano yung pwede kong gamitin ngayong quarantine? Okay, may skill ako sa Excel, for example. So probably I can offer my services to those who want to learn Excel, or titignan nyo kung saan kayo magaling. Nung bata ako, resourceful ako. I sell cigarettes or I sell pens in my school. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, di ba? as you go through reinvention, yung imaginal disc, nasa atin yan. So yung galing natin from the past, hanggang ngayon, nasa atin pa rin. You have to tap it. And then after that, you get support from your family, from your friends, because especially now, it's really very important that you get support from them. In my case, professionally, I've been partnering with different associations so that it can help me grow. But then, ang family talaga hindi nawawala. I check on them, we check on each other, especially now that I can go to the province. I'm from Pangasinan, I can't go there and visit everyone. So in order for me to undergo this continuous reinvention I'm going through right now, I need the support of my family as well. And of course, you have to create a new self-image. Not only externally, but internally as well. Very good example of this would be Yorme. Diba? We all know that Yorme started as a basurero. Basurero siya, naging artista, and now a very effective mayor of Metro Manila. Nag-aral din siya sa US, got some certifications there. Pinagtrabahuan niya. Yung reinvention niya was not really an easy journey. If you're a basurero, siguro the last thing on your mind would really be just fending for your needs, for your family, di ba? But then when an opportunity knocked, he grabbed it, he succeeded. So yung I can to I can't, I can't to I can, dapat ang follow natin. Kasi madalas I can't tayo parate. Oh, I can't do that. I'm really good at face-to-face eh. With online, I cannot sell online. So those limiting beliefs will really stop you. Because then again, you are planting that in your mind that you're only good for face-to-face selling, for example. Okay? So again, you have to create a new self-image internally and externally. Now, as you're doing this, there are a lot of challenges. Number one, wala akong pera. Okay? I don't have any money. I'm broke. I don't have enough money to start that online business. Pero ang tanong ko sa inyo, meron ba dito na lumalaki, sinabihan ng mga magulang na okay lang, hindi na natin kailangan ng pera, ang dami-dami na nating pera. Wala naman, di ba? We were raised to think na ang pera is pinagtatrabahuan. Most of us, probably some families, they say that to their kids, but majority of us, lumaki tayo na ang pera pinaghihirapan. Hindi yan basta-bastang ibinibigay sa atin. So in the same way, when you're in your journey or mastering the reinvention skill, you have to remove this thinking or what we call the poverty pattern. Diba? Halimbawa, pumunta ka sa grocery, sabi ng anak mo, gusto niya ng ice cream. Ano siya sabi mo? Huwag na yan, ang mahal, wala na tayong pera. Diba? Wala na tayong pera. Again, will be planted in your subconscious mind. So then it will stop you from reinvention because when you are mastering the reinvention skills, sometimes it involves money rin naman. Diba? So, ibili mo na kung mura lang naman, hindi siya sabihin mo agad na wala tayong pera. Iba na yung panahon ngayon. Kunwari, 5 piso lang naman yun. Ang dami ko nakikitang ganon. Pwede sabihin niya, ma'am, talagang wala silang 5 piso. Okay? So, wala talaga silang 5 piso. Stop saying na, we don't have money. Mahirap na tayo. No. You just tell them that they're going to get it in the next time that you visit the grocery. You still have to work for it, but not negatively. Not in a negative way. Okay? So poverty pattern, these are one of the challenges that you'll encounter. Next would be the business pattern. Someone calls you up, probably trying to offer you an opportunity, pero ano sagot natin? Busy ako eh. You want to reconnect with your parents who's not living with you, pero busy ka eh. So baka next weekend na lang. Come next weekend, busy ka na naman, di ba? Then you cannot reinvent your relationship with others if you're always busy. You have to learn how to prioritize things. Okay? Alam nga namang morning to night, busy ka. Hindi ka pwedeng tumawag sa sa parents mo or sa friends mo na gusto mong makipag-reconnect with. Or you're too busy to look into that hobby that you want to pursue na eventually baka pwedeng maging negosyo mo. That's called the business pattern. That's the second challenge. Okay? The next challenge would be the blame pattern. It's everyone's fault except you. Hindi ako naka-learn ng new language because sobrang trabaho ko eh. Even if I'm working from home, wala talagang oras eh. So it's not your fault, but the fault of your boss because he's given you so many tasks. Hindi mo na kaya. Or I cannot rekindle or I cannot speak up or really develop my assertiveness dahil ganito na talaga ako eh. Diba? Or my co-workers, they're not allowing me to speak. That's what you call blaming others or blame pattern. Lahat ng nangyayari sa'yo, ang ibang may kasalanan except you. And this will stop you from reinventing yourself. Because when you reinvent yourself, if something bad happens, learn from it. Acknowledge it, accept it, be accountable for what has happened, and then move on. Huwag tayong magsisisi kasi walang mangyayari sa atin. The more na mahihirapan tayo mag-reinvent. Okay? Next is procrastination. The dangerous answer, the dangerous self-talk of, I'll get to it later, I'll do that later, hanggat sa hindi mo na ginawa. So put a deadline to your goals. Tignan mo, kailan mo siya dapat matapos. Challenge yourself. Kung hindi mo nagawa to ngayon, or kung nagtapos mo lahat ng gagawin mo for the day, challenge yourself to do other stuff. Kasi we are in a culture where, nandun kasi tayo, we are in that culture of the 9 to 5 culture. And sometimes when we finish our jobs, di ba? Pag natatapos natin yung trabaho natin earlier than 5, parang nagigilty tayo na, wala na ba akong gagawin? Ano ba bang gagawin ko? Kung natapos mo na yung trabaho mo, then that's the time, no? You can, especially now, that you can focus on being good at the skill that you want to master, reinventing yourself in a way of speaking up, for example. Pwede natin ilaan doon yung oras na yun. Okay? And also, delusion. I'm working on it. Eh, di ba? May gusto kang gawin, may gusto kang i-reinvent sa buhay mo, pero lagi mo sinasabi sa sarili mo, okay lang, gusto kong pumayat eh. Di ba? Sasabihin sa'yo ng coach mo, for example, you enrolled in a gusto kong pumayat eh. Tapos kinamusta ka in the middle of the week, sasabihin mo, I'm working on it, coach. I'm working on it, coach. Pero after ilang years, 20 pounds heavier ka pa rin. Again, it's not the coach's fault. Diba? You have to look at yourself. Baka ikaw ang may diferensya. Baka ikaw yung hindi talaga makapigil sa mga chocolates. Ikaw yung hindi makapigil sa mga fatty foods. Kasi yung delusion nga na I'm working on it. Hindi ka lang kumain ng 1 cup rice, ginawa mo lang half cup of rice ng isang araw. Feeling mo you're working on it already. Dapat marami. It's the process, right? So I'm just giving you examples here on the part of your life that you can reinvent. And also with my experience, with my coaches, ito yung mga usually na gusto nilang i-reinvent sa sarili nila. Right? So now, let's go to the 9 steps to reinventing yourself. Again, you can either reinvent from the outside in or the inside out. So let's talk about you. Number 1, first step that you need to do is focus on what you want to reinvent. Ang hirap kasi sa ating mga Pinoy, ang hirap nilang isipin kung ano ba talaga yung gusto nila. Ang hirap nilang sabihin kung ano ba yung gusto nila. Di ba sometimes you experience when your husband or your partner asks you, saan mo gusto kumain? Ano usually yung sagot ng Pinoy? Saan mo gusto kumain? Or gutom ka ba? Ayan. Pag tinanong sa'yo, gutom ka ba? Diba? Hindi immediately yes or no ang answer natin eh. Anong sinasagot natin? Nag-breakfast kasi ako eh. Sinagot ba natin yung tanong? Hindi natin alam kung ano yung gusto natin. Gutom ba tayo or hindi? So where you are in the process of reinventing, you have to know what you want. It cannot be vague. Okay? So especially if you're planning to make a big change in your life and career, you cannot be vague. You have to be definite. I want to be promoted by 2021, for example. Susulat mo yan. And you have to visualize it, you really doing or having that position. Okay? So you have to sit down and really think about all the things that you are. What are you interested in? What would you like to do? What do you see yourself investing in? And then look at your motivation. Ano yung motivational triggers mo? What motivates you? Is it money? Is it passion? Okay, so focus on what you want to reinvent. Number 2, you have to find out what your strengths are. You can either be that creative person, you can either be a good team player, okay? You can be street smart, you're good at technical skills. You should know what your strengths are. And then leverage that strength in reinventing yourself. Because if you want to be a professional singer but you can't really sing, how would you now be able to achieve that? You can really practice, pero kung lalo na kung gusto natin is immediate yung reinvention, make an inventory of your strengths. And of course, your weaknesses as well. But now, I want you to focus on your strengths. Okay? List them down. Para alam nyo, ilalagay nyo yan sa arsenal nyo when you go through reinvention. Next, you have to plan and plan well. I know a lot of you have already encountered this. SMART goals. For those of you who have just seen this now, when you are goal setting, it has to be specific. Cite exactly what you want to accomplish. Okay, I want to put up my baking business online on January 20, let's say for example, or on next month na, or next week na, kung kailan mo gusto, di ba? You have to be specific. On October 1, 2020, I know that I'm successful in my online business if I reach this amount of sales. Okay. And then the sales that you would be setting for yourself, make sure that it's achievable and then realistic as well as timely. Okay. We can have another session for goal setting strategies, but I want you to remember this when you are setting your goals. Hindi pwedeng gusto ko magtayo eh. Okay, so gusto ko magtayo. Anong gagawin? Ano kaya? Ano maganda? Mag-sell lang tayo ng cupcakes or mag-sell lang tayo ng cakes o mag-sell lang tayo ng meals. Yung hindi mo alam eh kung ano yung gusto mong gawin. Kaya nga number 1 natin, focus on what you want to do. That's the only way you can go through the SMART goals. So then you have to be specific. A very good example would be in creating SMART goals was when I decided to become an NLP practitioner. I want to be a coach, but what type of coach, di ba? Hindi ka pwedeng all for one, one for all. So ano ba yung hilig ko? I took up psychology. I am really interested in learning about other people. So then I came across with neuro-linguistic programming and na-decide ko. So I worked for it. So ganun yung gagawin natin when we focus on what we want and also when we do our SMART goals. Next, you have to be courageous, just like Injap Sia. Injap Sia is the youngest billionaire in the Philippines, owns Mang Inasal, sold it to Jollibee. So imagine kung gaano siya ka-successful, di ba? So anong sinabi lang niya? Being afraid to fail shouldn't stop you. You can get over your fear, and once you do, your life will change. So ano ba yung being courageous? What does it mean to be courageous? Courageous is being able to do things even when you are not sure what's on the other side. You still do things. Kagaya ng in-offer sa kanya yung spot sa isang mall. He's not sure yet if he has the money at that time, but then he grabbed the opportunity and really planned his execution. Saan siya kukuha ng pera, kanino siya hihiram, sino ang pwedeng mag-support sa kanya. Okay? He had to be courageous for him to be able to put up his chicken business called Mang Inasal, na lahat naman tayo tuwang-tuwa dyan, di ba? Next would be, you have to be able to try things out. So this is a friend of mine who used to be a flight attendant. Her name is Miss Zara Juan. I used to go out with her during our layovers, and whenever we go to groceries, naaaliw siya dun sa mga eco bags. That time, in Japan, they already use eco bags. Tayo, plastic bags pa lang noon. Well, a lot of us now are using eco bags. Pero nung panahon na yon, when we are having our layovers in different countries, naaaliw na talaga siya dun sa eco bag. So that's how she started her business. She said, no, Suzette, I want to try being an entrepreneur. I want to pursue this business of creating or eco bags. So din nagsimula yung business niya, making eco bags, until she transformed now to becoming one of the best designers in the Philippines right now. So in-interview ko siya. So sabi ko sa kanya, what fueled that motivation for you to reinvent yourself? And she said, no, I did not know exactly what I was looking for, but I was sure I needed to shift. Entrepreneurship brought me back to life. I discovered that my sense of adventure was back when I started doing very small business transactions. So don't be afraid to try things out. And then when you fail, it's okay. You fail fast. You get up and then you move on. Okay? Next is you have to build your network and use your support group. Kung merong commercial na nagsasabing wag mahiyang magtanong, wag humingi ng suporta sa ibang tao as long as it's going to support you in mastering that reinvention skill. So while I was transitioning from becoming a flight attendant to becoming a trainer, to becoming a consultant, to becoming a coach, ang dami kong hiningian ng suporta. I asked mentors, thankful really for my mentors in the corporate industry, and these associations that I've joined, which helped me grow. So wag kayong mahihiya na, ay, beginner pa lang ako. Okay lang yun. Sabi nga nila, di ba, every successful man was once a beginner. So wag kayong mahiya na, ay, parang, okay na, experts na itong mga to. Hindi. Just make them feel that you're interested. Show them that you're passionate and they will help you. And you need all this network for you to be able to be successful in what you're trying to achieve or in reinventing yourself for that matter. Okay? Be hungry for knowledge. Another friend of mine here, Jav Villaruel, the CEO of Bayong Shaga, if you're familiar with it. He used Bayong, so yan. Ayan, dinesign niya. Ngayon, he's been shipping Bayong Shaga in different parts of the world. Very, very successful man. Jav was also a friend of mine. We were flying together as well, as who was a flight attendant before. And when I asked him, ang sabi niya, he did a lot of reading and research about kanino, tungkol sa ibang negosyante, so that he can get inspiration, so he can get practical tips. Okay. And he also mentioned, I also had to decide what businesses I wanted to pursue because it has to be your passion and your interest. If it's all about money, yes, you can succeed at first, but you won't be able to sustain it kung wala yung passion. So ask yourself, what are you passionate about? Are you passionate about getting your ideas across, but you cannot do it because you're shy? So list that down. Lahat ng gusto mong i-reinvent sa pagkatao mo, or if on the business side, if, for example, you want to be productive while working from home because the past few days, you've been Netflixing and chilling, okay? Sulat mo yon. Ano yung gusto mong i-reinvent? And then research to develop yourself. Be hungry for knowledge. That's what I did as well, no? When I decided to be an NLP practitioner. it entailed money kasi I had to go to the US pa to be certified. Pero buo talaga yung loob ko. Pinag-ipunan ko po talaga siya. And then, I learned as much as I can sa mga experts. Okay? Even the things that I already know, ay meron pa pala akong matututunan aside from what I know. So be hungry for knowledge. Accept your failure. Learn and pivot. As I've said, failure is good. Fear is good because it motivates you to be better. But then when you're at that point, you must know how to pivot. My sister who owns Plato Wraps, I'm not sure if you have heard of it. She also has restaurants, events place, and of course, zero sales. Lahat siya, di ba? Ng quarantine. So anong ginawa niya? She turned the business into a deli, a marketplace. So lahat ng mga shops niya in the province, ginawa niyang deli marketplace. She pivoted right away. Where we're not sure if it's going to succeed or not, but the most important thing there is you pivoted. Tinignan mo kung ano ba yung pwede mong gawin. Another example I can give you here is Nokia. Nokia wasn't able to pivot right away. Sino dito yung mga nagkaroon ng mga Nokia phones? Sige. Di ba, meron sa atin, mga lahat na ng klaseng 10s, 5210s, 3210s, di ba? Sobrang successful ng Nokia during the 90s. I'm sure a lot of you have experienced having a Nokia phone, or majority of you have experienced having Nokia phone. Stephen Elop, the CEO then, was at the top of his game, even though he's already familiar with the touch screen. Si Apple gumawa na, si Samsung gumawa na. Ang sa kanya is, why change something if it's working? Hayaan mo na. So, he wasn't able to pivot until the time came that he needs to sell Nokia to Microsoft. This is a picture of Stephen Elop while he was explaining, or he was sharing that Nokia has already been sold to Microsoft. Anong sabi niya? We didn't do anything wrong, but somehow we lost. And that's the dangerous thing that he said there. Sabi niya, wala raw silang ginawang mali. So there's no acceptance of the failure. So there's no lesson learned in that failure. And yun yung delikada, and yun yung gusto nating iwasan. Okay? So learn how to pivot in this time of quarantine. Ano ba yung pwede mong gawin while you are stuck at home? Di ba sa basketball, kailangan pagkakuha mo ng bola, yung isang paa mo nakaplant sa floor, pero the other foot you can still use, di ba? To pivot. Kaya nga sabi nila na sa basketball, pwede kang mag-shoot habang nagpipivot, pwede kang magpasa ng bola habang nagpipivot. Ganun din when we are doing our reinvention journey. Okay? And then, you have to remind yourself of your commitment. And how are you going to do that? As an NLP practitioner, I urge everyone to visualize yourselves already achieving your goal. And how do you do that? Simple, very simple template that I want to share with you among others. So, just follow this. It is now, for example, December 30, 2020, and I'm courageously speaking up and expressing brilliant ideas. And I hear my boss telling me, you're such an asset to the company and you have changed for the better after ECQ. I feel accomplished, successful, and fulfilled. I achieved this because I'm determined, I'm motivated, and I'm willing to take action. See, it's future-paced, but you're seeing it happening now. And when you do this correctly, as I've given you the template, yan, and madali nang sundan yan, you are able to focus on what part of your life you really want to reinvent. This will not only motivate you, but this will drive you to action. Why? Because you already have the date. You already imagine yourself doing it. You already imagine other people cheering for you and you helping them. Nakikita mo na siya eh. So then again, going back to my point, you are planting it in your subconscious mind, the successful reinvention that you want to go. Okay? So those are the 9 steps. Now, I would like you to take this. This is my challenge to you. This is what we call the 30-day reinvention challenge. Another template that I'm giving to you so that you can be successful in reinvention. You just fill out the dates, your target dates of activities that will support that reinvention journey of yours. Siyempre, susulat muna natin first would be, what do you work on improving? Ano ba yung gusto mong reinvent or i-transform? So here, I used as an example yung speaking up or being assertive. Let's say you want to reinvent that skill, assertiveness. Kasi lagi kang pag-meeting, hindi ka nagsasalita, hiya ka, for example. So now, you have to fill out the dates on the left-hand side. Susulat mo, you're going to have a virtual meeting on, for let's say, for example, October 1. Anong context no? During that meeting, I will share my views, and then I will on October 2 naman, I will accept invites to moderate sessions or to speak or to lead a meeting. Lahat ng possible scenarios na tutulong sa inyo to achieve your reinvention goal, susulat nyo yan. And then, when you complete it already, then you just put a check mark on the box. Completed. So for 30 days, gawin natin to. And then you will see the difference na, okay, kaya ko na pala. Uy, mas confident na pala ako. Diba? So lahat, when you say context here, when will you be able to apply that skill that you want to reinvent or that part of your life that you want to reinvent that will be supportive of you reaching your goal, susulat mo siya dito. And make sure that you put in the effort, you take action in achieving that. Baka puro sulat lang tayo. Hindi po pwede yon. So again, ladies and gentlemen, remember that caterpillar. Remember what that caterpillar has been through before he morphed into a butterfly. We will undergo everything. We will undergo the same thing. We will be in that chrysalis, that yucky situation. But then we are being in that situation for a purpose. Because we will be stronger. We will come out stronger, especially in reaching our goals of mastering that reinvention skill. I would like to leave you with this quote. So every next level of your life will demand a different version of you. So learn to be that version and reinvent. So thank you very much, everyone, for staying with me for 1 hour and 13 minutes. Ayan. I would now be entertaining questions. If you have questions, I'll be entertaining since it's 11:40 now. I'm sure a lot of you have plans as well, and most of you are just squeezing this in your work schedule. So anything that you want to share with me, your key takeaways would be very much appreciated. Or if you have any questions, just type it in and I will answer them. Okay, so Mary Grace, thank you too, Mary Grace. Thank you, City. Okay. Thank you. Okay, mukhang walang questions, and I appreciate that I appreciate that you were able to learn a lot. It's really a pleasure talking to everyone today and sharing my knowledge on reinvention. I would be talking about reinventing naman leadership style in this VUCA world on October, and please do check out Limitless Power Coach website and Facebook page for the schedule. Okay. Online training. Okay. So far, no questions. Thank you. May I call in Julius? Please don't go away yet. We're going to have our class